Hi guys! Welcome to Girls Gone Woke, where we inspire you to live a more conscious and joyful life. I'm Monica.
And I'm Claire. We're so grateful to have you here and bring you along on this journey with us.
Let's get started! Ho, ho, ho.
Dear Santa, I don't want to be a ho, ho, ho this year. Bonnie, I just want to start too. I know we're not talking about items, but I'm genuinely curious what's on your Christmas list.
Cash money.
Please,
You know?
please send me cash money in my stocking. No. Tony literally asked me what was on your list. I was like, Tony, I don't know what was on Monica's list. I'll ask her. I was like, why do you want to know what's on Monica's list? Then I was like, he knows how similar we are. So maybe if I
Yeah.
told him what was on your list, it would be on mine.
Oh, sneaky, Tony.
So I
Sneaky.
was like,
Well, I didn't have a list, so.
should we
You
start?
want to get this started?
Started. We took a little wide of a turn there.
The holidays are coming up. This week, we wanted to talk about how to deal with holiday stress and just pressure from the holidays in general.
Yes, because I don't know about you, but I feel it every single year. This is weirdly the first year for me that I haven't felt it quite to the extreme because I think just with everything that's happened with COVID, things have just been different anyway this year, but I always feel it. And it's very debilitating for me. Sometimes it makes me like miss out on all the magic of this time too. Do you
Yeah, what
feel
do you
that
get stressed out about specifically?
about? I think I don't know if this just has anything to do with my identity, but I love putting a lot of pressure on myself to be really like thoughtful and a personalized gift giver. So when I'm giving gifts, I always put so much thought into them. And I think it is because I pull a lot of my identity from that. I like to think of myself as like a thoughtful person. So if I don't feel like I'm doing that, I get all in a tiz. I'm like freaking out that not everybody's going to love their gift. Also, our Enneagram, just like one, being more of a perfectionist, and two, being a people pleaser. Like, I get very stressed that people aren't going to like what I get them. So, like, for each person, I'm always going way above and beyond. So, yeah, I think it just kind of has something to do with my identity. And if I don't feel like I'm doing that, it stresses me out, which is ridiculous. But do you get holiday stress?
Yes, now that I live across the country, I feel like there's just more pressure when I go home that I get like pulled in a million different directions. It's not a bad thing. It's just like my family loves me a lot and
Mm-hmm.
it's not a problem because I have such an amazing family, but it's just that I don't have a lot of time back home. It can just be overwhelming at times because everybody wants to see me and I can only be one place at a time. And I also just want to like sit and chill and enjoy time with family.
Mm-hmm. Do you get
But
any gift giving stress at all?
no, I really don't.
In general, yours is more so about like your time. You
Yes.
get stressed about your time.
Yes.
It's funny because when we brought up this topic, I didn't even think about that. Literally, my mind went straight to gift giving, which kind of
I didn't even go to that.
I know. And now that you brought up the time thing, so my parents, well, they're not really recently divorced, but it's been over the past 5 years. But oh my gosh, I totally know what you're saying. And maybe that was like a deep rooted stress that I have. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for me too, just finding the time, being from such a large family, and then now my dad is separate and my mom is separate, and including a boyfriend in there and his family, it's like, wow, how do you make peace with like how you prioritize your time? But I think you have to do just that, realize you are one person, like Mani said, and
Yeah.
do the best you can. And I feel like most of the time, yeah, people might be upset if they didn't get a ton of time with you, but they're going to understand. So,
Right. And the other thing I learned with how to deal with that is setting boundaries. That's so important to
mm-hmm.
do with family. Otherwise, they'll just suck all your energy out of you. But
Yeah.
it's okay to say, like, hey, I can spend this much time with you. Then I have plans to go see a friend. And when you're at your friend's, hey, I can only do lunch. I can't be with you all day.
Mm-hmm.
And if people get personally offended by that, that's their problem, not yours. Nothing in life is personal. So you just have to do what's best for you to keep you healthy and happy. And it sounds silly saying that that is our problem because I'm
Yeah.
not saying that I'm not grateful. I'm so grateful that I have a family. I know that there's so many people that, are alone on the holidays and they wish that they were in my shoes being pulled in a
Right.
million different directions. So I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that you have to set boundaries with that. I'm grateful that that is what I have to deal with.
Yeah. And I think too, just bringing up another topic, how Eckhart Tolle always talks about like the pain body. And
Mm.
holiday season, it's such a heightened time. Like there's so much emphasis put on this time. And sometimes when you go home, you create all these like expectations inside and you're like, oh, it's going to be perfect. And then you get home and you feel all of these feelings and you're like, why am I feeling so anxious right now? Why am I so angry? So I guess my advice for you would too just go into it with not huge expectations, take it day by day, and realize that a lot of that anxiety is also like triggered by unhealed parts of your past and also your parents' unhealed parts of their past. So kind of you obviously don't have a bunch of drama that day, but just kind of like maybe give your parents a little grace too because realize they might be doing things and saying things that are really frustrating you, but just know that they might not be aware of it. So that helped me when I went home just because we have, just like anybody, our own things going on. And so
Mhm.
just try and like be gentle with yourself and your family around this time because it can just be a heightened, there can be some heightened anxiety around it too, I'd say.
Right. And I want to go off of what you said too. That reminded me something that I've learned and how to view people in my family is just to accept everybody as they are. Not everybody in a family always gets along. And something that I do to help with that is just accept everybody where they are. We're all at variable levels of consciousness. We all have different views and opinions on things.
Mm-hmm.
And just learning to be non judgmental and not taking anything personally because nothing is personal. Everybody kind of lives in their own world and they're just projecting their world onto others. So I think the problem comes when people just get so tied to their opinions and their views on something and they get personally offended when somebody else doesn't see it the same way. But
Right.
there's really no reason to get offended by any of that. People
Mm-hmm.
don't have to agree on things and you can still love and accept people for who they are and where they're at and just agree to disagree because you don't need to when you are so tied to your opinion on something and your beliefs and your views on something that is when drama then comes in because you just aren't able to then see anybody else's side.
Right. You just get so bogged down by your own world and your own thoughts, which is so hard not to do that. But when you can kind of make peace with that part of yourself and just
Right.
realize it's okay, like
Mm-hmm.
accept it, oh my gosh, it makes a world of a difference.
Right. So if somebody in my family says something that I don't agree with, I don't get personally offended and then like react and fight back. I just, accept it, whatever. It doesn't mean that I agree with it,
Mm-hmm.
but I accept them for who they are and I still love them. And it doesn't affect me on the inside that I have a different view.
Right. And I think that's what makes this world like such an awesome place is that we all can have such different views on things. We're all so different and unique, and that I think is like such a gift in itself. So,
Mhm.
like Connie said, even if somebody doesn't say something that you personally like or agree with, just especially during the holidays, because who wants a big, huge argument on around the holidays? Just kind of like don't attach yourself to it and let it go. Have fun.
Like, oh,
Yeah. And
they're living in their own worlds, you're living in your own world, and just accept them for who they are.
just like talking about families and people who might be kind of lonely around this holiday season, there's also a lot of pressure to be like happy and perfect and like everything's great. And like I just want to personally tell you, like, if things aren't great and you're just feeling down in the dumps, like that's okay. We all have times when we're struggling or not feeling quite like ourselves. And just because it's the holidays, it doesn't mean that you need to feel any differently. I'd say obviously if you're like extremely depressed and lonely, like you might want to come to terms with that, accept it, and then seek out some help. But I think that it's okay to just like, you don't have to feel like everything in your life is perfect. And especially around this time, you see a lot of items like a lot of people spending a lot of money and say you just don't have that money to spend. Like we say, your value is never found there, and it's never found in a physical item. There's this like, especially in America, like this American culture and our egos, like we always need more, 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 more. And the holiday really like feasts upon that. They're like, more gifts, like let's do more of this, more of this, like the bigger the better. But it's not always a good thing. And if you're just feeling a little bummed that you maybe can't spend as much money as your neighbor on gifts or anything like that, give yourself grace. It's not about that. And
What
we're
about the gifts?
no, it's not about the gifts. Just give yourself a little grace this holiday season. It's freaking hard for people, especially this year, and we are not immune to that. I had a job change this year where I definitely am having to budget a little bit more, and I won't be able to give quite as much as I usually like. So I completely relate. It's not about the gifts and the money, but it's more so about just spending good quality time with your loved ones and being grateful for the time that we have, because we all know it's not guaranteed.
No, it is not.
Lonnie, why is this is taking like a darker turn than I was intending for a Merry Christmas episode?
But nobody's family is perfect,
No.
and don't get into the comparison game either this holiday season, because people are gonna project and post on social media and emphasize all of like their highlight reel, all of the good things, but like, everybody has their own ish, as Claire would say.
I know, I've been saying ish a lot. Everybody's got their own ish.
Yeah, so just enjoy what you have and be grateful. I know the holiday season is different this year, but that is not a bad thing.
And I think too, like we say the word accept a lot, and there is such that gives me such peace when I think about like, yeah, things might be different. I might not be able to see all my family this year, but I've already just kind of accepted it. It is what it is, and I'm already on to the next point in my mind where I'm like, okay, how can I make it fun? And I
Mhm.
think, I don't know, that's just like a good little tip too, because I know it's pretty shitty. I mean, you might not be able to get together with who you normally get to see, but I know our family, we're doing like, I'm not even kidding, we're doing like a 45-person Zoom call.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are doing that.
I know. And each person, we're going to go down the list of everybody, and everybody is going to say, like, one thing there, this is such a night family thing. One thing we're grateful for, like, where we're at in our life, and then, like, where we're going next. And I thought it was kind of cute. I mean,
So cute.
yeah. So if you need a
Yeah.
little idea and you're not able to get together with people, set up a Zoom. I don't know,
Mhm.
do something that makes you happy. Like find a cool new recipe that you can make, share it with a neighbor. I don't know, do something fun that makes it still seem special, because it is a special time.
It is.
I really hope you all have an amazing holiday season, whatever it may look like to you. This is the last one we'll have in the year of 2020.
Yes, 2020, goodbye. See you never. On
See
to
ya.
2021. And we'll see you guys next year.